Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Testing Mini Bytes. I am your friend Amudan Shaktivel, and today's topic we will see how we can use Docker Compose file to set up Selenium Grid in Docker. Right, so we have seen how we can do the setup of Selenium Grid in Docker using some commands. Right, so these are all the three commands that we used before. Maybe I have added a restart policy after including my lecture about restart policy. So we will quickly see about this. What we'll also understand what is the problem that it has, and we'll also see how the Docker Compose file can help us to set up this Selenium grid very easily, right? So without wasting much time, what I can do, I can go to the command prompt and then first I'll check whether there is any container that is in up and running state. Hopefully no. So yes, now I can set up this by the conventional way of writing commands, right? So I can copy paste it, but the more you type and more you practice, you can understand. The hyphen D is for running your container in background, so you don't want to see the logs for now. And I'm doing a port mapping from my local host 4444 to the container port 4444, and I also want to have the restart policy of always for the Selenium hub. Okay, so and then hyphen name. I want to name this container as Selenium hyphen hub, and using this image selenium slash of colon latest. So this is the image that I'm going to use to spin up my selenium hub container. So this is a very simple command. We have understood about it a lot. If you don't know what is restart policy, maybe you have to check the previous video about it. And now let's kickstart and spin up our new selenium hub container. Good. Once you run this command in your browser, you can go to this particular localhost 4444, and then just a minute, guys. Okay. So if you notice, if I run this, the hub is ready, but I don't have any nodes. So let's go and attach few nodes. Okay. So to attach the nodes, maybe I need to know the Docker images. Let me quickly filter out those images. Okay, that is having references. Okay, Selenium slash star colon latest. I also have downloaded few other images. Maybe okay, I will show it later. But for now, yeah, just trying to filter out all the images that starting with Selenium and followed by slash and followed by some wildcard and having the tag of latest. Okay, this is just to filter out the images, right? So hopefully it should print. So it has printed me all the images that is starting with this. Now I have already kickstarted my Selenium Hub. Now it's time for me to spin up this Chrome debug and Firefox debug. So the command is docker run -d, and I want to link this with Selenium Hub. Okay, Selenium Hub. Hi guys, I'm going a little fast because these are all covered already. So restart. So I just want to restart when there is a failure. I don't want to restart this all the time. So re and then the maximum retry attempt is 3. That's what I'm defining, and I'm using the image selenium slash node hyphen chrome hyphen debug colon latest. Again, you don't have to mention latest, but still mentioning that is it's also okay. So yes, my Chrome container is now up and ready. First, before we can go here and then check it. Yes, Chrome is ready. The version of Chrome is 88 and it is now ready to be used. But I also want to spin up a Firefox container. Okay, Firefox. Okay, good. I think it should also have create a new node for the Firefox. Maybe it take few seconds. Yes, now the Firefox container is also ready. Now I also want one more Chrome. Okay, so I'm running the Chrome command again, so it'll create one more. Okay, this is how you can suppose if we want 5 Chromes and 5 Firefox, okay, it will take a lot of time for me to run all these commands, So that's why we are going for something like a Docker Compose file. But before that, I also have one more image, okay, with myself. So Docker images, if I print, I have another form of Selenium node hyphen Chrome image that's belongs to this sync. Okay, this is that particular image that I'm interested. Okay, let me copy this. I'll also spin up one for this. Okay, so the tag is this. Okay, I hope everything is right. Okay. This is for different version of the Chrome. I don't want to only execute on 88. I also want to execute on one more version. I don't know what is this Zinc version is about. Maybe it's of 80, 81. I'm not sure. But let's spin up and then see here. Okay, here it will display you what is the particular version. Okay, if you notice, it has printed me 79, which means the image that I use now is spinning up a container of 79. Okay, so now you have two versions of Chrome. One is 88, one is 79. Again, if you want more versions of Chrome, you can pull different images and you can have different versions of Chrome in your Selenium grid. So this is as simple as that. Now, if you want to run your test, it's very easy. You just need to go and point this here. Okay, suppose for now what I'm doing, I have a simple test and I'm having a data provider. What it will do, it will return Chrome, Firefox, and Firefox, which means this particular test case will be executed 4 times, and each time it will take this value of browser from this here. Okay, so here I also want to denote them, use a particular version while executing. So the first time I want to tell my Selenium grid use this particular version. Okay, I want it to execute the test on this particular version. Okay, the second time when it is executing on the Chrome, I want to use this particular version. Okay, you can dictate what version you want to execute a particular test case. Okay, in my requirement, I have to execute this particular test case in this particular version and this particular version. In Firefox, I don't have different versions, so I don't even have to tell them. Even in Chrome, if you don't mention this, it will take whatever random. Okay, it will pick up 79 or it will pick up 88 based upon its needs. Again, I'm changing this to true, so that all these values will be returned at the same time, so the test will be executed parallelly. Good. But I included a new value, so I'm also telling string version. Okay, this is also a parameter for my method, and here I have option to set the version. Okay, whatever the version that's coming from there, I'm passing it here. Okay, good. I think everything should work fine now. Okay, so let's run as test ng test. Again, guys, I'll come to the Docker Compose file. Before that, I just want to tell you how this works. Okay, there is some failure, it seems. Okay, that's okay. It's telling. Okay, I think we have to give some version for this Firefox as well. So maybe I'll choose 69.0 and give it here. Okay, good. Okay, so everything looks fine now. Let's try to run the test. So unless we understand, there is a problem with the existing approach, we cannot understand why the need for a Docker Compose file. Okay, so now the test should have been started here. Okay, if you notice, both the Chrome is now occupied and one of the Firefox is occupied, because we are trying to run two Firefox parallelly, but we have only one browser with us. So that's why one request is waiting for this particular test to complete. Okay, so everything looks fine. I think the Firefox test is a little slow. I think the second test in the Firefox is now running. So all the text will be executed. Okay. You are out achieving the browser compatibility as well. Okay. There is no need for Docker Compose file, but the reason why we are going for Docker Compose file is instead of running all these commands manually, a file can do the job for you. Okay. So that's the purpose of using a Docker Compose file. So all the tests got passed. Okay. If you notice, all the tests got passed, everything works fine. Okay, we could also able to achieve browser compatibility testing with the help of this particular set version method. Good. So now, if you understand, setting up this whole thing is very difficult. Okay, and most importantly, I think the command prompt got stuck. Let me create a new command prompt. So if you notice, all these things are there. Okay, these containers are already in the running state. Now I want to stop them. So what I have to do, I have to run this docker stop, and then stopping them is also is big difficult task. Okay, so I have to run command like this. Okay, so I need to, and you can simplify this command, but still you have to run some command like this. Again, if you have 10 Chrome and 10 Firefox containers, stopping them manually is again a very difficult job, right? So I also have to remove them. Okay, once I stop them. Okay, you can use hyphen rm, but for now, yeah, you can remove them manually like this. So the spinning up and this spinning down operations is little tricky here, right? So now if I run this, nothing will be there. But whatever that we have run now, we can achieve with the help of Docker Compose file very easily. So let me go here and then explain you about what is Docker Compose file. So, so what this Docker Compose file will do, okay? It has a certain formatting, okay? The formatting is very, very important. So please don't use a Notepad or Notepad++ to create this Docker Compose file. You can end up in error. So use some IDEs like Eclipse, your Visual Studio or IntelliJ, where it can clearly highlight in blue that this is correct, okay? So the formatting is very important. And the type of file that we are using is version 3. Again, there is a version 2, there's older versions as well, but most of the people are nowadays using version 3. Good. Now, whatever the thing that we told as container in the Docker normal world, in the Docker Compose world, they can be called as services. Okay. So services, you can imagine them like your container plus all the configurations. You can consider them as services. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a Selenium Hub service. Okay, this is a service, right? So this service, okay, is using a image. Okay, if it is a little tricky to understand, maybe I'll draw a simple diagram so that you can understand. You know, consider this is your Docker. Okay, this is your Docker. Okay, and then you have your old containers inside that. Okay, you have containers, right? So you have multiple containers like this, but it has some configuration. You have expose some port, it has some volumes mounted, all those stuff. You can find this as a wrapper over this. The services, you can consider this as a wrapper over it. Okay, so these are all the services. Okay, so don't get confused. Selenium and container, services and containers are, almost used similarly, but they are quite a little different things. Okay, good. And I'm going to create a new container, okay, with the image of selenium/hub latest. This is what the command we use, right? So even if we go to my, this thing, okay, I used a selenium-hub latest image. The same thing we are giving in a different format here. Okay, good. Now the container name is selenium-hub. This is what we have used already. Okay, and then we also using a restart policy of always. Okay, and then we are mapping the port 44444444. So whatever we are using, everything remains the same, only the format is different. There we wrote it as a one single line command. Here we are displaying everything in a form of compose file. If you notice, in certain places we are using colon, and in certain places we are using colon and then writing the whole thing, below. When you have to use, why you are not writing something like this can be your question. Okay, 4444 colon 4444, why you are not writing in this particular line? Instead you created a new line and then you are using a hyphen symbol and then writing it here. Okay, so there is a reason behind this, guys. If there is a chance, okay, that this particular port can have multiple values, yes, if your container is exposing multiple ports, then you can also do the port mapping like this. Okay, if it is also exposing 5900 for debugging, okay, you can map it like this. Okay, so if there is a possibility that there can be multiple ports, then you have to use like this. But there are certain things that does not have multiple values. Suppose you cannot have multiple restart policies for your your services or your containers. So your container name cannot be multiple. It has to be always one value, right? So you cannot create a container with multiple images, right? So one container will use one particular image. That's the reason they are all written like this, but this is written like this. Okay, now I have my Selenium hub that is up and running. That's fine. What else? So you can also mention, okay, your Chrome service. Okay, next we want to spin up our Chrome node, like node Chrome, right? So for that, I'm using this particular image and the volumes. I'm mounting this again. I haven't spoken about volume for a long time because that's something very little tricky to understand. Okay, if you go to the your Docker Selenium GitHub page, they are clearly mentioning, okay, when you are not mounting or using these volumes, okay, your browser container can fail. Okay, this is why. Okay, consider when we are running our test. Now when I run my test here, all my test got passed because it is a very simple test. Okay, it doesn't require much volumes. Okay, when I mean volumes, the containers are running inside your Docker, right? So it for executing the functions, whatever the task that you are giving, it may need some memory. Okay, so or volumes, right? So it may be enough because you are running a smaller test, because we ran a very small test. But if a test is like 4 or 5 minutes long, then it cannot have enough space. Okay, Docker will default mount a very small amount of space. Okay, you cannot predict what is that, but it is not sufficient when you are running a bigger test. So at that time you have to give enough permissions. Okay, they are telling why is -v, this is essential. Again, you can use like this or you can use like this. Okay, this is the essential because this is a known workaround to avoid the browser crashing inside Docker containers. Okay, the shared memory size, again SHM means shared memory size of 2 GB, is arbitrary. It's not mandatory it needs to be 2 GB, but they have done a lot of trial and basis, and then they concluded that maybe 2 GB is known to be work in most of the environments. Okay, or you can use something like this. Okay, what we are doing, we are sharing our local host. Okay, the host where the Docker lies, right? We are sharing some memory from this particular folder in our host to the container host. Okay, so dev slash shm means dev, there is a folder slash dev, and there is a folder called as shared memory, and we are sharing some memory of from the host to the Docker container so that it can execute its test without any hindrances. Again, if you don't understand this, that's okay guys, it's just a one line. Okay, you don't have to worry about it too much. Now, depends on. Okay, in previous case, while we are executing our commands, right? So while we are executing all our commands, okay, first we executed this command, we checked whether the hub is ready. But in terms of Docker Compose world, okay, when you don't use this depends on thing, okay, it will try to kickstart all these services in parallel. Okay, so it can cause, suppose your hub is not even ready and you are trying to create a Chrome and then link to a hub, it may not work. That's why I'm telling, hey, please wait for until the Selenium hub is ready. So you need to wait until the Selenium hub service is up and running. After that you trigger this. Okay, and then use this particular parameters. Okay, the environment variable they are passing us, the Selenium hub, the hub host, what is the name of the hub, this is the hub host, and what is the port it will listen to, 4444. So we are also using the restart policy of on failure 3, because we don't want to use always. You can also use always, that's up to you. Okay, the same way I want to have my Firefox container, nothing different, only the image name is different. Okay, and the service name is different. So that's all about the Docker Compose file. I hope you understood it. Even if you don't understand, it's okay, guys. If it takes a few minutes or few hours, it takes few days. That's okay, because I took very long time to understand all these things. So maybe even if you do take some time, that's okay. That's completely all right. We cannot understand everything at the first time. That's okay. Okay, so we'll continue to work with it. Okay, so now let me open this command prompt, and then okay, let me close these things. Okay, and create a new command prompt. This time, okay, this Docker Compose file is located in this particular location. Maybe I'll copy this particular location. Okay, and then I'll go here. I'll, you need to go to this particular directory. Okay, okay, maybe, sorry guys, I need to just go to this particular directory. Okay, here I need to execute a command. Okay, now all the Docker commands are starting with Docker, but all the Docker Compose file commands are starting with Docker hyphen compose. Okay, now if you notice, we need to tell just up. Okay, if you tell up, everything will be up and running. But sometimes people also use, okay, docker hyphen compose dot yaml with a different name. If your file name is docker hyphen compose dot yaml or yml, you can directly tell docker hyphen compose up. If your file name is different, okay, if your file name you have given as, instead of docker compose dot yaml you have given selenium compose dot yaml, something like this, then you also need to tell hyphen f. Okay, before that, it indicates that's a file name, and then you want to up that. Okay, so that's the command you need to use if your file name is different. Okay, but if your file name is any of docker hyphen compose dot yaml or yml, then you can directly mention hyphen up. Okay, again, if you run this, it will go to listening mode. Okay, that's absolutely fine. We want to see the logs. Okay, that's it. You just run it once. Okay, everything is ready. Again, guys, you ignore this. I have my Docker Swarm enabled. That's why it's telling. We will come to Docker Swarm maybe at the later point of time, but just understand it's creating the whole stuff for us. Okay, I think it should have. I think the logs are not proper. I don't know why, but let's go here and then check. If you notice, we have our WebDriver and the Firefox and your Chrome ready. All right, so good. Now I don't know why this is not proper. Maybe the logs isn't proper, guys. So maybe I the command prompt got stuck. What I can do, I can go again. Okay, and then I'll create a new command prompt there. And if you find the video a little slow, please change the playback settings to 1.5 or 2. Guys, now I just want to down this whole thing because I am not happy with the logs what it showed, because it got stuck for no reason. I cannot predict when this is working and when this is not working. Okay, sometimes it's clearing you, giving you clear logs, but sometimes it's not. Okay, after running that command, okay, if you come here, okay, everything is now down. Okay, good. You notice everything is now down. Okay, now this time I'll again try to, so spinning up is very easy and spinning down is very easy, just one command, guys. Okay, now this time I want to see the logs, that's why I'm using spinning up it up again. This time I should see the clear logs. Good. I want to explain few things, guys, that's the reason. Okay, so you notice the logs are clear. Okay, Selenium hub is taking certain bit of time, and until then your Firefox and Chrome are waiting. Okay, this is because we have mentioned here, okay, we have mentioned here depends on Selenium hub. Otherwise you cannot predict your Chrome or Firefox is getting, started first. Suppose, consider this Chrome and Firefox, I haven't mentioned anything, so these two will be kickstarted at the same time. Okay, and if from the logs I can see that my Firefox is started first before my Chrome. Okay, so the same way, if you haven't mentioned the depends on, you are not sure whether your Firefox will be started first or your Chrome will be started first or your Selenium hub will be started first. We don't want to take that risk, that's why we have given depends on parameter. Good. Now each color indicates that these are all logs from that particular services. So we have given the service name as Chrome, but it has added appended underscore one, which means you can have multiple instances of this particular services. Okay, so let's see about it. Okay, so now the Chrome is ready to be used. All this Selenium grid is up and running. So you can go again now to the console and then verify, yes, all of them are up and running. So these are all ready, right? So even if you want to add a new version of Chrome, in previous case we used a new version of Chrome, right? We will use that same thing here. Okay, I'll create something like this. Okay, the alignments are very very important, guys. So just make sure that you are giving proper alignments. And this time I want to give on this, since that is a 79 version of Chrome, right? And then the tag is something that we have to go and find it out. Okay, I think I can close this. I just want to find the tag name, guys. I forgot about it. Maybe the zinc tag, okay, that I need. So let's copy this tag. This is what I'm interested. Okay, and go here and then click on paste. Before saving this file, let me also first shut down this whole thing. Okay, using docker hyphen compose down, so that the entire infrastructure will be down. Okay, I cannot run this command here. Maybe I need to open it in this particular location. You need to go to that particular location where the docker compose file is located. Docker hyphen compose down. That's it, guys. So everything will be up, shutting down within few seconds for you. Good. Everything is done. Now, this time I will save the Docker Compose file, and then again I will do the Docker hyphen compose up. This time it'll have three nodes. Okay, two versions of Chrome and one version of Firefox. Okay, that's the beauty about it. Okay, good. Let's wait for a few seconds because it may take. Okay, now the hub is ready, it seems. Okay, and then it'll slowly. So Firefox is added, 88 version of Chrome is added, and you have 79 version of Chrome as well. So within few seconds everything is up and running, guys. So that's the beauty about Docker compose file. Even if you want to scale these things, okay, even if you want to scale these things, okay, it's very very easy. Okay, maybe it went to listening mode. Okay, okay, suppose there are other commands as well. Docker hyphen compose, uh, you can also see what are the containers that are kick-started using Docker compose file. Okay, using that you can also check what are these containers and services. Good, now this is fine. Now I also want to scale those containers. Okay, I want to have 5 versions of Chrome and then 5 versions of Chrome 79. Okay, something like that. Okay, So what you can do, scale, give the version, so give the service name. So this is the service name that we used, Chrome, okay, and then Chrome underscore 79. So I want to scale the Chrome service equal to 5, okay, which means it'll create 4 new ones because there is already one, right? So it is already there, okay. So it's creating 4 new ones now. So with like this, you can just play around with Docker Compose as well. So you have to wait for a few seconds. It'll kickstart the whole stuff for you. So if you notice, 88 version of Chrome is now available in 5 different nodes, right? So that's the beauty about using a Docker Compose. Your scaling up and scaling down operations are pretty much faster. Okay. So if you also want to scale up your Firefox, you can also run this command. Okay, docker-compose. Okay, this time I don't want to get the logs -d. Okay, let it go in the background, and then I want to run scale Firefox. Okay, equal to 5. So it'll spin. -d is not applicable for this. Okay, then docker-compose -d scale Firefox. Okay, that's okay. Then you can just run it like this. It should work. I don't know. Scale Firefox equal to 5. Should have worked. Okay. Anyways, so we are spinning up our Firefox as well. Now, if you go here and then check, okay, everything is up and ready within few seconds. Okay, it should create for you. So if you notice, five Firefox is now ready. Okay, guys. So now I want to shut down this whole environment. Again, you can run the same test. Okay, whatever the tests that we have executed, you can run them. Okay, it will work absolutely fine. So this is our test. Okay, if you want to even check it, run as test ng test. That's it. It'll pick all those things and then it'll run it for you. So it's very simple, guys. Integrating with our framework, we will see that in the next class. But I think you should be in a position to work itself. Suppose see all these things are occupied. Okay, so it means 2 Firefox and 2 Chrome is now running. So you can get parallel testing. The execution is very fast and it's very cool, right? So you're doing browser compatibility testing, you're doing a parallel execution. You are not utilizing your physical resources, or you are not utilizing something like browser stack C test for your execution. Everything is fantastic. Everything is open source, right? Docker is open source. And then you're not spending any extra efforts on this. Again, guys, the test will work absolutely fine. So if you want to shut down the whole environment, okay, you can just type docker-compose down. That's it. Everything will be down. One thing that you also want to make a note of it is, every time you create a Docker Compose environment, okay, you have your okay. If you also notice, the logs is different. Okay, everything is good. This is your spinning up logs, right? I just want to show you that something called as network. Okay, every time you create a Docker Compose file, environment using Docker Compose file, it is creating a network of its own. Okay, which means whatever the containers that you are getting started, they all belongs to one particular network. You can imagine they become a family now. Okay, connected by a some unique network. Okay, instead of the default Docker network. Again, I cannot deep dive into Docker networks because that's something very vast. If I go now, it will take a lot of time. But just imagine this network of you creating our private network within your Selenium Hub family is very good thing. Okay, so the Docker daemon takes very less time to operate on these things. Okay, so that's the one more advantage. Again, if you don't understand, that's okay. But dominant advantage is you don't have to write multiple lines of code. The error that you can make when you are running commands is rectified with the help of Docker Compose file, guys. I'll see you in another great video. Until then, tata, bye bye from Mudan. If you guys like the content, please do subscribe, share with your friends. Thank you, guys. Bye.